So winter, at least in Scotland, is fully here. The wind has picked up and the temperature has taken a massive dip. The window for flying drones has gotten even smaller in this fickle country that we all love so much. So I'm here today to hopefully give you some fairly obvious but helpful tips for flying drones in cold and wintry conditions. Sit tight, grab a warm brew and hit that like and subscribe button as we get into this video. Now, the very first thing you need to be doing is an obvious one, and that is checking the weather, of course, before leaving. Firstly, you're looking at wind speed and temperature. Here is a chart of all your classic DJI everyday drones, along with, most importantly on the far right here, your max wind speed and operating temperature. Now, we all know there is a slight room for play here, but it's best to try and stick to the suggested limits. Personally, I use the Met Office weather app here in the UK, but we'll talk about checking the weather just before takeoff later when we get onto helpful equipment. The battery life in cold conditions will decrease rapidly, and that is guaranteed. At 50%, you want to keep the drone close to yourself just in case the battery percentage really starts to drop. I've found that in cold conditions it can be fairly normal when working from 100 to 50, but beyond that is when it really starts to play up. Internal batteries tend to do better compared to external batteries in your older models, but internal batteries are starting to become the norm for most drones these days. Now, in terms of keeping your batteries warm, as they will operate better and for longer compared to being left in your bags cold here, is a quick tip. Wear some sort of gilet or underlayer jacket that keeps your batteries close to your body to allow them not to get too cold through your body temperature. This helps keep them at a moderate temperature longer flying. However, there are better options for extremely cold days that we will also come on to later. Remember, this is an extremely complex bit of technology with multiple functions and uses going on at the same time, and cold weather will mess with the fluidity of this. You've just got to be careful and treat it with caution when flying during the winter time. The movement can start to become sluggish on low temperatures, so before you fully set off, maybe try out all your movements and just get used to them. Try not to fly too high, as it's going to be more windy and cold, and I know this sounds obvious, but it will prolong your flying time and allow you to get more shots. Wintertime can result in very moist air, so I just gave your drone a quick wipe with some alcohol-based wet wipes when you get back from flying, just to make sure nothing is built up on the drone and especially the flimsy props. So let's quickly talk about some helpful equipment you can take with you when flying in the wintertime. The first is this, an anemometer. It will tell you the exact wind speed and temperature of where you're taking off from. It's light, not too expensive, and could be the difference between you taking off or not and avoiding crashes. An obvious but essential one is gloves. Nothing too thick, so it's difficult to control or set up. Something like these with, of course, the tips of the fingers being usable with a touch screen. Next is a useful bit of kit that any droney should have, especially in wet or snowy conditions, and that is a landing pad. In the past, when out filming in the snow, I have in general found myself stomping down a little area every time I take off, and this can become a nuisance and prove slightly ineffective at times. So a landing pad just saves you time and worry. We sell these foldable, easy to pack, weighted landing pads that work great, so just get in touch through our website down in the description if you'd like to pick one up. Finally, back to batteries and how to keep them warm in extremely cold conditions. What you can grab this Christmas is a rechargeable hand warmer that can even become a battery bank. Two birds in one lightweight stone. It will keep your battery perfectly warm and allow you to charge whatever else may be decreasing in the increasingly cold temperatures. Now, I find myself flying in the snowy winter air during a perfect golden hour, some of the most enjoyable moments with the drone. It makes standing in the freezing cold all worth it. However, as I mentioned earlier, bear in mind how many technology-based devices you're using, and they are all impacted by the cold, from the drone, the batteries, the controllers, and even your phone. Be prepared for some unnatural behavior from your drone that you might not be used to when flying in the summer. Follow these tips and grab some of the helpful equipment I've mentioned, and you'll have a safe and enjoyable flying experience this winter and every winter after it. So thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and goes a long way here, and I'll catch you on the next one.